Hello, Shinfield Baptist Church, and to Nathan and Sally Ann. I'm Ruth, and I'm part of the CSW team coming to you from my home office here in a very sunny and snowy Edinburgh. The CSW team and I wanted to say a quick hello and a thank you for your continued support, particularly for your prayers for those persecuted for their faith or belief. CSW is a Christian organisation that stands up for religious freedom. We speak up for those of all faiths and none. As Christians, we stand up for persecuted Christians like 17-year-old Leah Sharibu, one of the countless girls abducted in Nigeria. And as Christians, we stand up for persecuted Muslims like Abduram Toti, one of over 1 million Uyghurs held in re-education camps in China. We believe no one should suffer for their faith. We believe that everyone should be free to believe. Since the pandemic, church in the UK was forced to go online overnight and was able to do so with complete freedom and without fear. However, in places such as Cuba and China, many churches have not had the same experience or opportunity. Marginalised groups are at greater risk during the COVID-19 pandemic. Hosting an online service can be risky and can potentially come with severe consequences at the hands of local and national authorities, as well as non-state actors. We know too that the crisis could be exploited by legitimising crackdowns on places of worship and human rights defenders. Right now, your prayers and support is essential to showing people persecuted for their faith or their belief that they are not forgotten, especially during the pandemic. When it comes to doing our bit to help others in this area, know that from your very own homes, if we all individually take one small step, we all take one huge step together in helping to seek justice. So with all that being said, here are 2 examples of where we're seeing progress in our advocacy in the pursuit of helping those persecuted for their faith or belief. First up, I'd love to share our latest campaign, Sorry China, I'm Not Buying It. At the start of this update, I mentioned between 1 and 3 million Uyghurs, Kazakhs and members of other predominantly Muslim ethnic groups have been placed in re-education camps in China's Xinjiang Uyghur Autonomous Region. They are incarcerated for crimes such as unusual beards, possessing a religious book, or meeting with others to pray. Many of those released are sent to clothing factories that supply Chinese and Western brands. The entire clothing industry is potentially tainted by forced Uyghur labour, and credible reports have implicated dozens of brands, including Zara. The Coalition to End Forced Uyghur Labour believes that roughly 1 in 5 garments sold globally contains cotton and/or yarn from the Uyghur region, and 20% of the world's cotton comes from the Uyghur region itself. This is why we are joining together with many other organisations to bring economic as well as political pressure to bear. The onus is on each corporation, including Zara, to make a clear statement and ensure that it is not part of the problem. Until recently, British love brand Marks & Spencer was also potentially complicit in buying tainted cotton. However, CSW encouraged its supporters to write to M&S's CEO Stephen Rowe, asking the brand to commit to not buying cotton from this region and to signing the Coalition to End Uyghur Forced Labour's brand commitment and to exit the Uyghur region. Along with the advocacy of many other organisations targeting M&S, I'm glad to announce that Marks & Spencer's recently signed the brand commitment and has now made this known publicly. As a follow-up, please do consider getting in touch with M&S to say thank you and join us in our efforts to encourage Zara to do the same. Will you help us ask Zara to ensure that they don't use Uyghur slave labour? And here's another thing you can do from your own home. Lobby your own MP. It only takes a few minutes. Shortly before the March lockdown in 2020, David Linden MP stood up in PMQs and asked the Prime Minister Boris Johnson if he would meet with CSW to discuss the plight of persecuted religious minorities in India. I'm glad to say that the pandemic did not stop this meeting, and just this week our former CEO, now founder president Mervyn Thomas, met with the Prime Minister as agreed in PMQs. Mervyn was able to discuss freedom of religion or belief and religious minorities in India, in which the PM committed to raising this with Prime Minister Modi when he visits later in the year. All this can happen when we all help to take action. Never underestimate the power of a small action. It truly can contribute to progress and real change, even in a pandemic. So if you've helped persecuted believers recently, whether you've prayed, given or campaigned, be encouraged and know how thankful CSW is for your efforts. There is still plenty of ways you can help CSW in its pursuit of helping persecuted believers of all faiths and none. Do check out our website to find out more details on how you can do this. So Shinfield Baptist, on behalf of CSW, thank you.